So Three Pines, the new detective show that's sparking on everyone's screens, Amazon Prime, but what is it about? And in this video, I'm going to tell you why you need to watch it. And you need to, bruv, honestly. Even if you watch it, the full thing, you're like, this ain't for me. You'll still take something away from it. In this video, I'll tell you why. But first, my brothers, a brief explanation of the show and how it goes. So first, to set the scene, imagine there's a pine tree and it starts snowing. Then, up in the air, there's birds chirping. Footsteps can be heard approaching in the distance. Wait, let me start over. So, the main character, Chief Inspector Gamache, finds out an Indigenous woman is missing by the name of Blue Two Rivers. And he goes in the car with her family, telling them like the whole story.
Blue's been missing 13 months and 11 days.
Which he then promises her family that he will find her. So that's basically starting like the overarching mystery of the whole show. And then Gamache is called out to a mysterious death in a town called Three Pines. Hence the name of the show. And he begins to track down who the killer is with these three other detectives. Well, two other, and then the one cop, which is Nicole, which I'll talk about later. And before I get into reviewing the whole show, every episode and all the characters and everything, I'm going to get into the reasons why you need to watch this and why, in some aspects, it's better than Sherlock. Wasn't clickbait. Maybe it was. It's half clickbait. Give me a break, bro. Reason number one, it's a lot better than most detective and police shows nowadays because most of them are just so bland. I'm not gonna lie, bro, just the same thing over and over. Someone's died. Let's get this cool detective that we think is cool, but he's just the same bland detective each time. But this show is just so much more than that. At the start, you think, oh, it's just gonna be about this one murder and then the little thing on the side, which is Blue Two Rivers going missing. But no, it's got more murders, more mystery, and not just the same old, same old. I mean, for the first murder, for example, it's set out to be this woman that the whole town hates. You find out everyone in the town hates.
Think it's Cashmere or Kitten?
My money's on Kitten.
She probably caught it and skinned it herself.
Who the f does she think she is?
So it's like everyone has this motive to kill this woman. It even makes the viewer hate her as well by showing how bad she is to her daughter and stuff.
Le seul accident ici, ça a été de t'épouser et t'as donné naissance à cette chose.
And a relationship with her family, and now she's cheating. And then you find out she dies by being electrocuted by sitting in a chair that was reserved for someone else, not even her. It's crazy. It's so good. But yeah, honestly, nowadays there's not much more that can compare to this. I mean, I'd say in the first few episodes, I was a little bit like, ooh, what's going on here is a little bit different. I was kind of still pondering on if I should still watch the show. For some reason, I compare this a lot to The Outside, if you've seen that HBO show by Stephen King. It's just one of my favorite shows. How it starts off, murder's already happened, and then it goes in story straight away. But in this, you have to wait like part way through and then the murder happens. It takes pretty long to get into the story. I mean, it's a creative decision because it sets up the Blue Two Rivers, little mystery. It overarches over the whole show, which is really cool. So reason number two, boys, is really well acted by all the actors. The whole cast are really well. And obviously, the main man himself, Alfred Molina, as you may know as Dr. Ock from the Spider-Mans. That's why I put him in the thumbnail. A little bit of clickbaity thing. And then I've got the other three detectives, I'll say, even though Nicole's just she does some things, man. Honestly, I hope she becomes a detective at some point. I've not read the book, so I don't know what's going on. That's what I like. I love watching these shows and having no idea what's going on because I've not read the book and that. But yeah, they all have their own parts to play and their own little personalities, which are kind of separate from each other, and it's really cool. And the team's chemistry works really well, with Gamache being like the most intelligent, knowing what's going on most of the time. He'll always like figure out something. He's like, I know you're the bad guy and just know it. And then the cost being Gamache's John Watson, basically. And I love how she has her little own storyline. It goes off of her like a little bit, like with her kids and how someone called a child line or something on them. You saying? Yeah. Nah, 2 pepperonis, alright. And in Jingai, I don't know his name. It's French, so I don't know French. I've been to France 3 times, right? Still don't know anything there. I don't know what it is, but I just love his voice.
Yeah, I was supposed to be at a drinks thing tonight at Le Royale.
He's a cool character just to be there. And I mean, he helps a bit. Like the guy who's like, he's basically having problems with his wife and he's lying to everyone about her and stuff like that. I was kind of hoping there would be like a romance between Jean Guy and Lacoste. Have you heard that thing where every story's a love story? And it's like in this, there's not really any romantic things between anyone except for Gamache and his wife, which are already together, so it's like pointless. And then Nicole being the comedic value to the show. She's so good in the show. I mean, without her, it would just feel a bit empty. I mean, it'd still be a good show, but it just wouldn't have that little thing that she has, where she just have them awkward little moments. Like you see it in episode 1.
Hello.
Sergeant Lacoste. Oh, wow, Sergeant. Living the dream.
So she's getting loads of stuff wrong and she doesn't do a job that well.
A local woman tried to revive her, Ruth, something. Sento? Now it's gone.
She's still kind of smart. She gets along with the detectives and she figures out stuff by herself and helps the team. She's so good. And then the group of criminals, well, group of witnesses, which then instantly turn into all the suspects. I mean, it's like the Twin Peaks kind of thing where the whole town are all suspects. Might be him, might be him, might be her, might be him, might be her, might be him. But yeah, they play really well and they play the parts really well because it's just that like having that little like sauce to you. Like they all have secrets. There's a big ton of freaking secrets, bruv. Reason number 3, boys. It's just a different take on the detective story. And I love the aspect of like the Indigenous side of this show. Like the music, if you've heard it throughout and when you watch it, it's so good. The singing just gives you goosebumps and like the emotion in the song. I love this part of the show. It's not really shown that much in shows like this, in like the Indigenous Native American type side of stuff like this. And in this show it really shines. It's really a good part that I love. Because like B, one of the victims / witnesses of the town, she has this like little art center and it's so cool. She has all these like paintings. And she has these little sculptures in the woods of like snow frost things. Gamache goes out and sees them and it just pans through. It's just so cool. Even though it's nothing to do with the story or the murder mystery, it's still a great part of the show. Because I feel like everyone does this thing where everything needs to be connected. It does, but it also doesn't. You need most stuff to be connected, but then obviously because he goes there because he thinks she's a suspect or something to do with something at some point. Reason number 4, you will not regret it. So now I'm going to rate every episode in the whole season. So episode 1, Whiteout Part 1, 6 out of 10. Now the reason for this, it starts off slow, doesn't do the murder straight away. But yeah, it works well as a setup episode, but yeah, 6 out of 10. Episode 2, Whiteout Part 2, 7.5 out of 10. I believe this episode was a bit better. It's the one that kind of like reeled me in, like wanting more. I wanted to like watch the rest of the show. Then on to episode 3, The Cruellest Month Part 3. I'd probably say this one's also like a 7-ish, because compared to episode 1 and the start chapter 1, it felt like there was a lot more going on, a lot more happening, and a lot more like shown to the town, like the residential side like of like Free Pines. And I just love that how shows and where they add history to stuff in the towns and stuff. It just adds more intrigue. Now episode 4, The Cruellest Month Part 2. I say this one's like a 7 out of 5 because it has like quite a lot packed in and it resolves the murder mystery of this chapter really well. And you can't not say the end bit was good with the bloody bear. Man brings a bear in. He thinks he's going well and he's like, yo, I'm gonna escape. Freaking bear walks in his car. He's like, nope, I'm done. Arrest me now. I'll be the same, bro. I ain't finding a bear. Ain't no way. Check out the bear, it's a really good show. Now this is where it gets really good. Episode 5, The Murder Stone Part 1. And honestly, I'm gonna rate this episode a 9, boys. Because I was really intrigued about the whole mystery the whole time. From the first minute to the last, I was like, yo, this is so good. And it felt a lot like a Sherlock type kind of mystery. With like on the statue that killed Julie at the start. There was like all these little inscriptions which were all the children and they needed to find out which one was which. Also the thing of it's set in a different location, a breath of fresh air to the show. This is nearly the perfect episode of Free Pines. I feel like rating stuff a 10, you can't ever get perfect. Now, episode 6, Murder Stone Part 2. I actually think this episode is also a 9 because it resolves the murder mystery really well. It's also someone that you barely see the whole time. It's just a really good chapter of amazing detective work. All the characters play their parts really well. I think they probably have like a red herring in like every episode. Episode 7, The Hangman Part 1. I'd say honestly, I think this episode's an 8.5 out of 10. It's just another really well done murder mystery. I like how they're all so different, not just the same kind of crap each time. And this one, set in the woods, in the actual Free Pines, it sets up the whole like group of suspects, criminals or whatever, as they're all suspects again. Because the guy walks in, the guy who gets murdered, and he's like, I know all your secrets. I know all your little secrets and what you do in the night. Stuff like that. And it's more of a chill episode, more than like the previous ones where it's like, A lot's going on. And then the final episode, episode 8, the Hangman part 2. So for the last episode, we get a lot packed in. And if we were to rate it, I'd say it's an 8.5. It's really good, but it's not up to the Murder Stone type stuff. It's also mainly because of the cliffhanger ending. Don't really like that. I like adding a little bit on the end. It's like, oh, this other little mystery's going on. Finally caught the killer of Blue's murder, and he's like, come on, I'm taking you in. Oh my god, so surprising. He betrays him and tries to and shoots him. Who saw that coming? Yeah, I just feel like they didn't need that kind of cliffhanger, but I'll see where it goes in season 2. Now for my overall rating, boys, of the whole show. I believe just by a bloody inch, it's a 9. I think the show came in, did what it was supposed to do effectively well. It now already has its own set place in the detective genre. I feel like this could be one of the best shows out there. Now for the part you've all been waiting for. Is Three Pines better than Sherlock? Now for right now, there's not a definitive answer because there's only been one season. And I think we'll probably have to get up to like 4-ish if it even makes it there. Stuff just gets cancelled left and right. Anything can get cancelled, bro, nowadays. See how good it'll get by then compared to Sherlock. And then I can completely say which is better. But for right now, saying someone's yes. For example, the Murder Stone chapter is like a full-on Sherlock mystery, but done even better at some parts. I mean, with the carvings on the statue and trying to find who the stag is. Now, I know Gamache obviously isn't as smart as Sherlock, because Sherlock is literally inhuman. Dude's a superhuman, man. Dude's a madman. But yeah, for Gamache, he's also good as well. He's like proper smart as well. Like, seems to figure out stuff like really easily. And sometimes he already like has an answer. Also, one big thing for me is I had more episodes than a Sherlock season. For myself, I always love it when there's more episodes. I think the sweet spot is like around 10 or literally 10. But eight's still good. Which, I mean, there's more time to develop the characters, develop the story, you know, the whole intrigue to the show. So yeah, if you like this video, check out this one right here. You might like it even more than you know. You'll never know unless you click it. See you boys in the next one. I'll be back.